But in the real sense, everything that you do on a day-to-day basis of accumulating your wealth and planning how you do things is actually integration. But you see it as massive mass, but it is you're integrating. But because I didn't say it in your own mother tongue, right? To say Chikota, like if you're coming from Ohafia, right? Which every one of us can relate with, even though we're not converting it to mathematics. But I can relate with it and see that I can actually use this to solve my day-to-day problem. But I hear many of my friends come, no, I did integration, differentiation. It's so useless. I don't apply it. But on a day-to-day basis, you're actually applying it. It's just that you can't relate with it. So the point I'm making here is around that inclusivity. Of course, while you're thinking about the projects to do, how can we also include our own language to be part of the knowledge that AI will also use to reason, right? And the things that we do. So the next slide was me then talking about the risk in AI, which is, if you go to, I've actually mentioned a couple of them. Some of those things are not grounded, right? I'm just asking questions. It's giving me responses. It can actually generate harmful content, right? Help me create a bomb. Of course, AI will help you tell you how to create a bomb, right? How are you? Those are the things that you should also be careful of when you're using it in your industry, because you don't want it to now create harmful content that will impact your image, the image of your company. So there are guardrails that you should always put in place to ensure that AI will not be used in an unfair manner. That will be the last slide that I have. So I think if you go to the next slide, that should be like Q&A, right? But I also want to demonstrate some of this. Oh, no, I still have one. Cool. So let's go to the skills, delivering skills for everyone. These are like some of the tools that your people are using today to build AI, right? GitHub Copilot, that is very, very popular in building your code. So if you're developing code, GitHub Copilot is super, super important. GitHub Spark is also very important. It can help you build your entire front end. If you use Cursor, if you use Replit, they are all AI programming tools, so you can actually use any of them. There are different AI framework and services. You have AI Foundry. This is from Microsoft, Copilot Studio, Power BI, Copilot, Microsoft Copilot. These are all tools that are available, but choose the one that you would like to use. So I won't drain this. I'll also share this slide so that you can use. The next one will be on how you should. I told you, one of the main points that I raised is the people that are going to take this opportunity that is coming from AI are folks that are going to self-learn. You're not going to wait for anybody. So please, you can use the aks.ms/AI skill navigator to have a curated AI trainer for you, right? So this is free of charge. You don't need to pay anything. If you go to this site, aks.ms/AI skills navigator, it is from Microsoft too. It will ask you a couple of questions. Why do you want to use AI? What skill level do you have? And it will create a training plan for you, and you can use that training plan to learn AI. If you go to the next slide, for you to practice some of the things that I've mentioned, if you are a student here and you have a student email address, you can get $100 credit for Azure. But for you to do that, you will need to use your, if you go back, please, you need to use your, if you go back, you need to use your student email address. Right? So you can't use your personal email address. Your student email address, you can use this for a free $100 Azure credit for you to do your AI trainings. If you here are inspired enough to start up your own company, to create your own startup, Microsoft also has Microsoft for Startups, and you have a $5,000 Azure credit to help you build any AI solution you need. So you just need to sign up there with your personal account. It could be a Gmail, it could be any of the accounts that you have, Outlook. And then you have a $5,000 credit to start working with AI. You even have an opportunity of getting up to a $150,000 credit if you are building a lot more things So it's also available for you. So please do make use of these tools to excel in AI. Let me quickly just show you, before you ask questions. So if you're looking at my slide, at the screen, you're going to see one of the services that I talked about. It's called the Azure AI Foundry. This is a solution for people that want to build AI, right? You want to create AI on your own, right? It's like an advanced tool that you can use to create AI. So if you get the $100 credit, please try and use it for this kind of service, because you will learn a lot about AI. But I'm going to show you just the simple thing of AI. I told you that when you are doing generative AI, you have this large language model that was trained using all the information from the internet, right? We have different ones. Some of them were called GPT 3.5, right? Some GPT-4, GPT 4.1. Now we have GPT-5 and the rest. These are all AI large language models that were trained. I'm showing you here one of them that I'm using, which is called the GPT 4.1. That's the model I'm using here. Do you think this model knows everything about Presbyterian Church? No. It was trained on the internet, so it really would not know much about Presbyterian Church. You only know based on what was trained at that time, not what we are doing now. So let me use this model that is here. I'm telling it that you are an AI assistant that helps people find information, which means if I ask you a question, you should tell me, you should respond. And let me type here, hello. So it is thinking about it, and it's responding, hello, how can I help you today, right? This is nothing but me asking you, hello. And you most likely say, hello, you respond. It doesn't know anything about me, or it is a model that was trained. So you are already creating something that can interact like a human being, right? By using this model that has nothing in it. Let me then ask it a couple of questions and say, I'll just copy this and paste, and say, tell me about Lagos Presbyterian Church. And let's see what it does. So imagine that we have this in front of us as a guide, like as an usher that understands things. And it's telling me, Lagos Presbyterian Church is a prominent Christian congregation located in Lagos, Nigeria. It is one of the oldest Presbyterian churches in the country and has played a significant role in religious, social history of Lagos and Nigeria as a whole. Is this correct? It's correct, most likely, because, of course, okay, she's saying the word is partially correct, right? Depending on who you're talking to. But in the generic sense, I don't think anything is said here is wrong, right? I don't think anything is said here is wrong. So, and then it's also giving me further things, that the Lagos Presbyterian Church was established in the 19th century with its roots tracing back to the missionaries of the Church of Scotland. It's telling me things. But I'm telling you, this is AI churning out things that are intelligent. Of course, I can copy this and paste it and submit as my project. And to every general person, it makes sense. But maybe to a professor in Presbyterian Church, it might be a point.
The next slide
Yes.
is not a 19th century church.
Thank you.
Lagos Presbyterian Church is 20th century church.
It's 20th century.
The establishment of Presbyterian Church is in the 19th century.
Perfect. And this is Elder who is versed in the Presbyterian history. And if I ask you, you maybe say, well, that is correct. 19th century, I don't even know where it is, but it sounds nice, right? But that is AI that has been trained and is giving you things. You can trust it if you want, right? But I'm just telling you right now that it knows how to, it's creating unique content. This thing does not exist. It's creating the independent variable. It's creating something that you can take as your own. You generated it, right? Okay, so I think maybe most people will know about this one. Let me ask it one other question, which I feel everybody should know about. Or maybe before it will respond, I will ask you first, and then you tell me. What time is Sunday service tomorrow? Who knows? Our typical Sunday service, I'm not saying about the exact tomorrow, but when does our Sunday service start? 7 a.m. with Sunday school, right? Bible studies, okay. So let's see what it will say. What time is Sunday service tomorrow? Okay. So see, the typical Sunday service for Lagos Presbyterian Church located at, it's telling me something that happened in Apapa. And it's telling me it's going to start 9 a.m. The point I'm making here is AI is intelligent, AI is nice, but these are predictions. Just know that these are predictions. I hear people talking about, oh, no, this is so intelligent. It's just predicting the next word. Nothing says that the next word that it's predicting is true. Right? Okay, so let's kind of switch gear a bit. Hopefully, it will say something. Is there any new program happening today? Okay, cool. Look at what it says. I don't have any access to real-time schedules of Lagos Presbyterian Church. I don't have access. So if you require anything, please contact the church office. Of course, this can actually serve as your agent. What will make this generic model work for you? Okay. So it's making it real-time interactive. Cool. Perfect. So if I've exposed that information, so if I combine what Elder says and what Emeka is saying, is I need to give it real-time information, right, for it to then give me the right answer. Thank you very much. Elder was responsible for this response we are seeing here because he actually put it on the internet. What does it tell you? It tells you that because it's depending on what was in the internet to train, there is nothing to validate that this information was correct. So it's actually giving us an information that was correct as at the time that it was released, but it doesn't mean that it's still correct today. It is now stale. This information that was, they crawled the internet to train it, it learned how to read, it learned how to write, but it didn't learn how to tell the truth. It only learned how to give you the information that was given to it. So just know that these are some of the risks that come. This information was not generated anywhere. It was also learning from what was provided then. It doesn't mean that it applies now. So in the way you're going to be creating your own, of course, you'll be using this because you need something that can read and understand. But you then need to provide your own real information, which is your data, to then make it answer the question. I just drafted one just to show you, but please do not take this as the gospel truth, right? This is just my own version of the truth, okay? I'm going to use this same AI that is here. So let me clear all this interaction that happened before. And I'm going to tell it something. Let me tell you what I'm going to show. I'll apply these changes. I'm going to tell it, you are a helpful assistant, and your job is to provide information about Lagos Presbyterian Church. If you're not sure of the answer, kindly respond in a friendly manner that you do not know. This is what you know. And I put all this information. Lagos Church, this is the location. This is when the church starts, whatever. I put like a couple of things in it, right? And then I go and ask one of the questions that I said before. And say, what time is Sunday service tomorrow? Let's see. So, what is he saying? You're welcome to join. But I used the same model that was streamed with all the information on the internet. But now it's giving you the right answer. What did I do? I told it, this is the information you know, and I gave it information about when we start service and the rest, and it's reading it to answer the question. So this is how I'm then making it relevant to Presbyterian Church as we stand today by providing it the information, the truth, from my own perspective, right? How will you apply this? Should you just throw the model to your business to start answering customers? The answer is no. You have to prepare your data. And the fact that you're giving it your data does not mean that you're doing the right thing. It's the fact that you're giving it the real data that you should work with. Because if you give it erroneous data, it's still going to provide erroneous response because it is not a human being. It doesn't have a soul. It doesn't understand what is right versus wrong. It's not a human being. So I have to provide information about it, about the things that I need to. I'll just put the last prompt, right, so that we carry on with other things. So is there any youth program today? So let's see what it says. So let's see the response. It says, I don't have any specific information about youth program happening today at Lagos Presbyterian Church. However, I do know that the youth church is active and occasionally held programs such as Maximum Impact Conference, AI Masterclass. So it's giving me information about it didn't know we have AI Masterclass, but I kind of put there that we're supposed to have AI Masterclass. We typically have Maximum Impact. And it's reading it to answer the question. How you responded to it is based on the thing that it's reading and giving me a response. This is not actually the way I wrote it, right? So just know that this is one way that you can use AI and achieve a whole lot in your establishment. I'll have to stop here. I know I've spent past the time, but I hope you enjoyed it. So the floor is open for any questions you have. Okay.
Okay, a quick one, sir. I just want to know, this particular AI that you just imputed an answer, does it mean that anytime we visit, maybe in the future, and ask this same question, will it give us this same answer you gave to it now?
No, it won't. So the way AI is, it is non-deterministic, which means it will not give you the same response for the same question that you ask it, right? Because I told you this is statistics. It's choosing, it's actually predicting the next word. There is a feature here in AI that will tell it how it should predict that word, even though you don't see it, but behind the scene, it is there. I'll show you. To answer so let me kind of ask this question again to see whether it will give me the same answer. Then I'll show you some of the things that are happening. Is there any new program happening today? So check the response here and the response above. Are they the same? But it's still the same question that I asked it. And it's giving me two different answers. If I ask it again, it will give me another thing. Why? Because I have a setting here, the parameters, that determine how AI will select the tokens, the words that it's going to predict. There's something called temperature. It's about the creativity of AI. The more you make this temperature very high, the more it looks creative by suggesting multiple answers as you keep asking these questions. If I take this temperature to 0, I'm telling it I don't want you to be creative. Always give me the same response all the time. So you might think about it. If I'm going to apply AI in the medical industry, I might not want it to be creative. I only want it to just give me the right answer because I just want the right drug. If I'm using AI for maybe creative writing, I will tell it I want it to be very creative. Give me things that are very unique because that will make it look very creative. So these are some of the things that you also have to apply. I didn't get to the level, to the nitty-gritties of how you use AI, but I expect that when you then start reading it on your own, you identify some of these things that are there. Yes.
I think he has a question. All right, he's asking, it's looking like this is a back end, what you showed to us on how to, set up the algorithm that he uses in choosing whatever it is. Yeah. Now, can we also, in our own app, go to a setting? Is there a place we can go to set an algorithm so that we'll know the kind of answer he's giving to us? That's what he wants to know.
Okay. So the part he's asking is how do you choose your model? Yeah. Right now, I believe the whole of you are using ChatGPT for free, right? Which means you're using a model that you can't control. It is set by OpenAI, right? So you don't have the capability of choosing the model you're going to use. If you're using the AI Foundry, which is the one I showed you here, it gives you the capability of choosing the model that you want to use. You have to choose that model and deploy it. So this is not just the model just came. I actually looked for it. There are over 11,000 models in AI Foundry, right? Over 11,000 of them. You have to choose the one that you want to use and then deploy it. And then start asking you questions. That is how it works. But if you're using other people's tools, you can't choose the model. Maybe you're using Copilot. If you're using Microsoft tools, you're using Copilot. Microsoft is the one determining the model that you're going to use. You won't be the one choosing the model. But if you're using, Microsoft also has AI Copilot Studio, which will also allow you to build your own, right? But you will not choose your own. You can choose your own model while you're building it. AI Foundry, it doesn't come with any model. You will deploy your own. There are 11,000 of them. So if you're building any special one for people, you'll most likely be using AI Foundry for it.
All right, I have another question, especially on using AI in our everyday work. Yeah. So most times you write something and you have to go and check AI checker to know if it's 100% AI or not. Now we've all accepted that AI is here to make our work easy. So why do we still have to go and check if it's AI generated? Even I've had some times where I think Chinedu wrote something. I asked him to write something, and when they went, they said it was 100% AI. Meanwhile, he wrote it. Is it that humans cannot be very intelligent or know something that is telling you is 100% AI?
See, this question you asked, right, is a very, very important question. I share the same, to be honest, I share the same viewpoint as you do. Like, I'm wondering, why do you stop people from using AI if this is really what they need to do, right? I have a couple of chats with friends, right, who, some of them are software developers. And some of them also share the opinion that you, not your opinion, right? They kind of feel, I don't want to depend on AI a lot because I feel it's going to make me dull. I want to generate my own content myself and be my own self. And I always tell them that it makes sense, right, for you to do that. Only if you're competing against yourself. It's fine that you want to create your own content. But in this world, we are rarely competing against ourselves. You're competing with the rest of the world. And honestly, they've all moved on, right? In Microsoft, AI writes 30% of our code. So imagine the code that is written in Microsoft, written by AI. If Microsoft today said, no, everybody, you must create your own, then we will be creating our model today, and other companies have developed and deployed models a lot faster. So I do not agree, right, given that a whole lot of what AI was trained with was actually trained using human content. So why wouldn't it behave like humans? And so when you do that check, right, so I have my sister who is also doing like an MBA, and they keep checking her work. Is it 100% AI or 100% not AI and the rest? So I don't agree. Right? At this point, we really need to prepare ourselves for the age of AI, and the skill that is required is to learn how to use AI, right, to do the work. Yes. Okay, so I think.
So I need to beg you to ask questions. Are you asking questions for Sammy J? Is your own or his own?
Oh, sorry. I'm still here. Okay. Talking about AI. Normally, anything that looks like it has code, mathematics, anything that just has to be too technical, personally, I run away from it. If it's like a storytelling, I can venture. So how would you encourage one to start up and start from a simple place to a difficult, instead of the whole maths and English that is inside? You know, how do we start from learning this AI? It's something that I want to venture into analytics then, but when I came and I saw everything there, I said, no, let me go back and do something else. So how do we, since the world is going there, and some of us don't have background in anything like this, how do we start up to say, okay, start here. It's easy from here, then go to the more complicated ones. Yeah. Thank you.
That is also a very good question. Maybe we should just pass the mic to you to be asking all the questions. But the truth is, in this age of AI, I feel like AI has already changed how we learn, right? By personalizing the learnings. Right now, you don't want things that are technical. You don't want things, you just actually want to start from ground zero. The way that you should use AI to learn, right? One is they use AI tools that are trusted, right? The things like ChatGPT and the rest. But to always ask it, I told you the best programming language now is English. To tell it to teach you in the way that you will understand, right? So if you go to that tool I shared with you, which is the AI Skill Navigator, it will always ask you questions before it will start giving you what to learn, to say, why are you learning AI? Where do you want to apply it? What is your skill level? Are you still a beginner? Are you an advanced? It will ask you those questions so that it will then curate what will appeal to you, right, at your own level, meet you where you are, and then move with you. So on how you should apply it, go through prompting. Like, you shouldn't go to the very extreme. I'm still a beginner. Explain this thing to me as if you're talking to a toddler, a young person who is trying to learn, and then you kind of build from there. Or also use the AI Skill Navigator to create the skills that you need. I've not received any, have I received any? Okay, I received from this side.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. So my question is quite different. So, given your area in 'Cause I think you're in data before you move to software, but you're still in that space. So I'm more into data analytics, but in the business intelligence aspect. I don't like coding.
You don't like coding?
I don't. I did it because of my project, and I did that, but it's not really something I enjoy doing it very well. I rather design and make sense, have beautiful colors, that kind of thing. So I'm more into BI than into the Python and coding part. And okay, there was a time when I actually wanted to like do something to be able to like integrate them, but it was quite hard because now I had to do the coding aspect. But so my question, before I go and start telling the story, my main question now is that what's an easy way for me to be able to integrate both my knowledge in BI tools, Power BI and the likes, with this whole ML, AI. I mean, you can prompt on ChatGPT, but most of the time when you prompt and give it data, it gives you very useless reports sometimes. So what's a way that you can integrate it that it would give you a better way to create your reports or give you a better way to create your tools?
Very good. And you use a lot of Power BI, do you? Yeah, very good. So, is AI matured enough for data analytics? The answer is yes. It does a lot of data analytics today. But I told you that your AI is just as good as the data you give it. If your data is bad, your AI is bad. So if you're using AI for data analytics, the fact that you know that column C0 means customer 0 does not mean that AI knows that column C0 is customer 0. But you understand the data yourself. You're the one that created this data. But in your column, you're calling it C0 or C1 or ID or giving it a name. But AI really does not understand that business concept the way you do. So one thing that you do when you're using AI for data analytics is they always ask you, make sure you name your columns in a way that is easy for anybody to understand. Anybody, which means AI will also be able to understand it. So for the fact it's generating reports that are useless, it's just that it doesn't understand your business context and it can't relate those things there. So if you're using Power BI today, there's always something that is called prepare your data for AI. It's a feature that is there to say prepare your data for AI, which will then guide you on creating the right business name that can be understood by anyone, bringing in the right context so that AI will then generate the right result for you, the right analytics. So I also use AI to create reports in Power BI, right? By primarily prompting it to create those reports for me, right? But I always have to prepare my data in the shape that it can relate with it to give you the right answer. Yeah. Yes?
Okay, so I have another question too. So this one is actually like more like general. So I was on X and then I saw this thing by a lady where she was like, Nigerian companies would give you like one loan when you're trying to apply. Make sure you make no use of AI in whether you're front end, whether you're doing anything. There should not be any use. But then the US counterparts will say, please have knowledge of this before you can work with us. So what's your view on that? Was that not going to destroy the Nigerian market for, job opportunities for Nigerians? Because most of the time, most of these things are long and repetitive and redundant. So using AI kind of like makes it very fast. So what's your view on that? What should someone do? Should they now like be leaving any Nigerian opportunity aside? Because any small look up, they see that, for example, as I saw on that thing this morning where somebody was like, I can smell AI generated front end from me, because most of them are always purple. But meanwhile, these people know what they are doing. To start creating from scratch is a lot of work, right? Why can't I just do it? So what's your view on that?
Yeah. I think this is speaking to the earlier point I made, that if Nigerians, we want to be competing with ourselves, we can stick to where we are. But the truth is, it's a global village. You cannot do that, right? I don't know. I also actually sit in a couple of organizations in Nigeria who are creating both the Nigerian AI strategy and also the national sovereign cloud for Nigeria, right? And the consensus position is that Nigeria should be moving towards AI in everything we do, right? Are we there now? Obviously not, because of some of the points that you're raising. Are we actively working at getting there? The answer is yes. Maybe we're not seeing it right now, but just a whole lot of work going on behind the scene. But you should prepare yourself for the global job world. Like you can't just limit yourself to Nigeria. Who will be the one that will differentiate when things become open? It's you that is already prepared. So it's when the opportunity comes and you're prepared that you can then apply any of the skills that you've learned to helping Nigeria accelerate, right, their own. I also mentioned this point that I feel Nigeria is a massive country we're blessed with a lot of languages. As a national project, I feel Nigeria should invest a whole lot in digitizing our own language so that we kind of create our own version. Like, I want to have a scenario where our kids can no longer speak our languages. We can't learn things using our language. I think China is moving far ahead because they did not live out their own language, right? So, but imagine the massive opportunity. Like, I'm telling you about my page project. I hope you don't, well, maybe you can go do that too, right? Of really looking at how to translate all these cartoons to our own natural language so that our kids are then made to watch it. I don't have to spend all my time saying, like it's a lot of work for me. I keep doing that, I'm doing that. But if I just translate this cartoon to my own language by using AI, and I'll leave them to it, I'm coming back tomorrow and hearing them trying to teach me my own language, right? That is really the way. So please, do not work based on the standards that we are setting here. Learn AI. Companies in Nigeria are already doing that, so it's not like there's any policy stopping you. I think there's somebody out there that wanted to ask a question. Or did I get it right? I thought he was moving there before I had to move back. Okay.
Okay, sir. This is my question this time. I would like you to answer me in a very layman language. I picked something. You were saying AI agents. So I believe you met, or what I understand is humans solving problems with AI, right? Now, personally, if I'm to now create an AI for a particular problem, just like you said, language, and I believe AI is diversified, is broad. Now, I want to solve the problem of mother's tongue with AI. How do I start? You've mentioned so many things, and in a layman language, I want to understand, where do I begin from? Yeah. How do I go about it? What do I do? Maybe you come with a practical. Please.
Okay. So, I will take you back to how we started AI, where I kind of told you that initially, let me refresh your mind, that we were doing symbolic AI. We were trying to create rules, right, of how things happen. And then we found out that that was